Bonjour everyone, I am your humble French tarot reader and deck goblin marine, and today I wanted to talk about a subject I don't think I've ever talked about on my channel, which is journaling, and specifically decks that I think could really enhance and help support a journaling practice. Now, I'm a very casual journaler, by which I mean I haven't really managed to sustain a very committed daily journaling practice, and that's mostly due to me navigating chronic illness and chronic pain. I live with a disability, meaning that there are some times in my life, some weeks, some days, where I'm unable physically to actually sit down and journal. But when I am able to tap into that practice, I have found it very inspiring. I found it very healing, very supportive, and I'm currently actually reconnecting with my love of journaling. And so I wanted to share with you some suggestions of oracle decks that I find really helpful for people who potentially are really into journaling, but also I have some options for beginners who have maybe never journaled before and want to get a bit of a hint as where to start. I have some indie suggestions and some mass market suggestions, so hopefully there should be something here for every budget. And of course, before I start this video, you don't need decks to journal. That being said, if you're here, it is most likely that, like me, you're a tarot and oracle deck lover, you are a fellow deck goblin, and so having that support of the cards can be really helpful. Also, just a really lovely practice, something that you are creating a sacred space for you, a little time of self-care, of empowerment, of healing, of shadow work, whatever it is you're journaling upon, and we'll touch on different subjects. I do really think that the cards are not necessary, but they are very helpful if you are already inclined to using them as part of your daily life. Hopefully you like this subject. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do a tarot version, and of course let us know down below if you have your own suggestions. We can share. The comments are always a great place to exchange with you all my favorite oracle decks for journaling. Let's do this. I wanted to start with decks that I think are great as a starting point for people who may never have really had a regular journaling practice before, or people who potentially are like me and kind of dip in and out of their journaling practice. Some decks that I found really helpful. The first one is a mass market deck I've had for a few years now that I really enjoy. It's the Unshakable Inner Peace Oracle by Shannon Kaiser, and as you can see, it says 44 card deck to awaken and align with your true power. The reason why I love this one for journaling is because you have text directly on the cards, which is really helpful when you just want to pull a card and get a starting point. So as here are the backs, you can see cards are slightly taller and larger, more oracle size, I would say. And this is a collage type deck, and as you'll see on every single card you have a key phrase, but you also have a question. So here it says, trust your face, dive into the unfolding journey. What is your face asking of you? You can of course go into the guidebook, and the guidebook is actually quite good. For each of the card you have quite a bit of text. You have a message about what the card says, and then you have what they call the divine assignment, and then you also have, again, additional meaning and a question, and it's the same question that's on the card. I love using the guidebook for when I'm pulling the cards around guidance. But if I want to use the cards for journaling, I actually don't really go into the guidebook because my starting point is right there. It's the question right there. This is a great one for beginners or people who need a bit of a starting point and don't really know what to journal on, for example, because you can literally pull a card and you get a question and you can start writing about that and answer that question. So for example, here it says, how can you focus more on your own path? And so you'd pick up your pen and start journaling about, okay, how can I focus more on my own path? Now, what I love to do with this one as well, on top of that, if I'm using this for journaling, is that afterwards, once I've answered the question, kind of like free-flowing, journaling in my journal, I would then potentially pick up a tarot deck and pull 1, 2, 3 cards, creating a little spread around that theme. So for example, what belief is limiting you here? I would answer that question journaling, but then I would pull some tarot cards around, potentially I'd create a spread like 3 cards. Okay, once I've identified the belief that is limiting me, maybe with my spread, I am digging deeper into that. So like, what is this belief trying to tell me? How can I change this belief around? So of course, you're always welcome to add tarot to your journaling practice, right? This is, I'm talking about oracle decks today because I find them to be great starting point. But you do you, boo. I always say that, your practice, cartomancy practice, your spiritual path, your self-care practice, whatever it is, should reflect what makes you feel good. It should be what brings you joy, what brings you contentment, what brings you support and healing, especially in these times. Follow your intuition. It will not lead you astray. If you want to pick up some tarot, do that. If you don't, you just want to go off this question, do that. Nobody gets to tell you what to do. I really want to make that clear. This video and all of my videos are never about telling you what to do. It's just about sharing my experience and what I have found myself personally helpful. So this one is definitely great. One I recommend all the time, not just for journaling as an oracle deck. It's really beautiful and it works well, but truly for journaling, it's been very helpful for me to reconnect with that practice, as I think the questions are really awesome. So here it says, how can you be more intentional with your choices and live with more purpose, for example? So really beautiful, the Unshakable Inner Peace Oracle. An indie option for my beginners and / people who have potentially given up journaling and are trying to get back into it is this indie deck. It's called Whales Can Save Us Oracle. I actually backed this one on Kickstarter last year, and this is also one of the decks that has helped me reconnect with my journaling practice. So with this one, we have these beautiful backs, and it's a hand-drawn oracle by, I believe, a Spanish artist. Different colors here, and as the name suggests, the whales oracle, Whales Can Save Us, you're going to see a whale on every single card. These are, again, we have questions on the card, so this is perfect for when you need some inspiration, you don't know what to journal about, you feel like, okay, I want to pick up my pen, I want to pick up my journal, I want to explore my soul, my inner self, but I don't know where to start. This is fantastic. You pick a card and there's your question, and you can start digging deep about that. Again, if you want to then pick up a tarot deck, explore deeper, you can, of course. If you want to go into the guidebook, there's beautiful messages here. It's bilingual. You have Spanish and English in the guidebook, and you have quite a bit of text for each of the cards. I have a suspicion some of those cards are inspired by tarot, which I personally love because tarot is like my love language, and I think the art style is so beautiful, so healing, so gentle for all of my ocean witches out there, for people who enjoy the ocean, enjoy animals, enjoy nature, and want something very healing, kind, gentle, soothing, and supportive. There's really nothing here too confronting, so this is also really great, I think, and why I'm suggesting it for beginners or people who want to get back into it, because it's really soft, really kind, and still you can get quite profound with this one. So here it says, how can I free myself from the past and embrace rebirth? How beautiful, right? How can I embrace joy and happiness in my daily life? What hidden emotions and fear do I need to face? So you can still go deep with this one, but I don't think it's too confronting either. So it's a great in-between option before diving fully into like some heavy shadow work. You can still definitely do some proper, helpful, insightful, deep work with this. So I've really been enjoying this myself. I've used it quite a lot since the beginning of the year. Truly has helped me reconnect with my journaling practice, which again, I'm telling you, I kind of go in and out of, and it's mostly due to physical limitation and like living with disability. But when I'm able to journal, I love it. And this has really helped me reconnect with that love. Finally, for my French speakers, as I know I have quite a lot of French viewers, French originally, I mean, I'm guessing you can tell with my froggy French accent. English is not my first language, so I do enjoy some French decks, of course. And I wanted to mention L'Oracle de l'Harmonie by Aline Savant. This is a mass market deck, and it's really wonderful. I use this one all the time. I've had this one since, I think, 2019, maybe. It's definitely been used and loved. We have quite a lot of cards on this one. I can't remember how many cards. 54. This is, again, you're gonna see a theme here. Here are the backs, by the way. You get an image and you get a keyword and a question. Here it says lack. How do you feel? In what ways do you feel incomplete? Here we have rest. Do you need to rest? Inspired action. What do you want to feel? self-esteem. What do you feel like you have accomplished? What emotions should you free yourself from? We have resources. What resources are available to you right now? Silence. We have flow. Are you fighting against time? So there are some really interesting questions here in this one, which I have again found great starting point, either to create spread around tarot or just to journal. This one is a very versatile deck. I use it to journal. I use it to pull up some oracle cards around it. I use it to put some tarot cards around it. I use it to inspire spreads around it. It's really good like starting point. The art style, I don't love it. It's really not my type, minimalistic like this. I'm a maximalist at heart, so I don't really use this for the art style, but more for the keywords and like phrases on here. And the guidebook is actually very good. I definitely recommend, if you guys have this deck, to rely on the guidebook, because not only do you have a question and a guidance, but then you always have what they call your bubble of harmony. And here you'd have either meditations, guided meditations, some exercises, or things that can really help you, maybe some breathing exercises, little like activities that can help you put into practice what you've journaled about. And I think that's really helpful and wonderful. And again, it's a deck that has been with me for years, or that I tend to always come back to when I need to reconnect with my journaling practice and I need to find some help that feels very rooted in day-to-day. Like this mentioned things that feel very helpful, putting boundaries, facing your fears, right? It's very much anchored in our day-to-day life. It's not too woo-woo at all. I would say this one is a lot more to fit on earth, which definitely can be helpful. We're gonna move on to my second category, which I guess is like decks that can help you go a little bit deeper. So you are already someone who likes to journal quite a bit. You've already got your journal set up, your journaling practice, but maybe you need new inspiration or something that can help you dive a little bit deeper. These are the decks I would recommend. The first one is an indie option, which I don't think will surprise anyone, as I think it's such a hard hitter and really an amazing investment if you feel called to it. It's the Reclaim Oracle. It's by Marion Costantin. It's an indie deck. Like I said, we have 88 cards, and this is truly one of those decks that is a powerful, very deep deck that focuses mostly on feelings and emotions. So this one I have found incredibly helpful personally to journal about reconnecting with my inner child, connecting with my inner landscape, potentially focusing on my emotional well-being. It kind of feels like having your own therapy in a deck, which of course journaling and oracle cards should never replace therapy, but it can be a great addition to therapy. I have found personally in my own practice and in my personal time when I was working with my therapist, I have found that working with this particular deck felt very helpful for my own practice and for integrating what we had talked about, for example. So this again feels not very much woo-woo, I would say. It's a lot more connected to emotional healing. It's a deck that I feel like everyone could benefit from, truly. You're going to see we have an amazing array of kind of concepts and a lot of like light, a lot of shadow. So here we have regret, desire. The art style is very evocative. It's very emotional. It's the kind of deck that will make people cry. It can be quite hard hitting in that sense because it will bring up things to the surface. But that's what journaling is all about. I think it's really about also for me a way to cleanse my soul and to help me sometimes look within when I don't really know how to do that potentially, like especially if I'm going through a very painful phase, like physically painful, because I live with chronic pain and every day I'm in pain, right? But some days are definitely harder than others. Being in a body that is constantly on high alert can make it hard sometimes to notice how you feel emotionally because all you're feeling is pain. And so I have found this deck really helpful to help me look beyond the pain and feel like, okay, am I feeling fearful? Am I feeling sad? Am I feeling in denial? Am I feeling validated? Am I feeling supported? This deck is truly amazing. It's not one I bring out all the time because it can be quite intense. Like I said, it's quite a lot. Like, you know, the images are quite impactful, and definitely we're entering shadow work realm with this one, looking at our shadow, looking at potentially our fears, our trauma, our wounds. But it's also extremely gentle, and if you feel ready to go deeper and to do that kind of work, it can be an incredible help and tool. The guidebook is also wonderful. We have for each of the cards a message, not too much, but definitely enough to again give you a starting point to journal about. So if you pull this connection, you can journal about what the card looks like, how it makes you feel, how do you feel like it resonates with you at this moment in time, and then maybe also read the guidebook and journal off from that. This is really a truly amazing one, I think, for people who want to do some journaling around shadow work, who wants to do a bit of a deeper kind of dive into their emotions, and who are ready to explore all the facets of themselves. Another absolutely amazing deck for this kind of work, the Lantern Oracle. This is a mass market option, so it's much more affordable than the one I've just showed you, by Angelina Miravito and Yuli Alejo. I adore this Oracle deck. I think it's quite popular in the tarot sphere, and for good reason. It's really, in my opinion, one of the best mass market decks that you can get in terms of how useful it can be in your practice, whether you're reading for yourself or for others. This one is truly amazing. Plus the artwork is delightful. We have, I can't remember how many cards in this one, 44 cards. Here are the backs, and the Lantern Oracle is definitely, again, a deck that's more tailored toward shadow work, towards emotional healing, towards digging deep within your soul to look at wounds, fears, blockages, limitations, ways that you might sabotage yourself, but also ways, also the like golden nuggets that are hidden in your shadows. Sometimes I see this discourse on people who do shadow work, that they show a lot of dark decks. I don't like dark in aesthetic, so they'll show like vampires and zombies, you know. And whilst I can understand why that would work for shadow work, I personally don't think you need a dark deck in aesthetic to do shadow work. For me, shadow work doesn't mean dark theme. Shadow work means looking at what's hidden, what I'm not wanting to face. And this deck is quite bright in aesthetic. It's actually quite beautiful. I mean, the cards are stunning, I find. The paintings are beautiful. You know, the colors are gorgeous. But it really is a mirror. I see this as being a mirror that allows me to look within and allows me to look at the things that potentially I'm unable to look at myself. And when I do that, I often find nuggets of gold in hiding in the shadow, which I potentially would have disregarded if I had not used this deck. And I really believe that once you start to do this type of work, where you're looking at your wounds, your fears, your limitation, and your the way you sabotage yourself, etc., your patterns that you're repeating, you know, things like that, it often can bring up to the surface some power of like reclaiming certain part of yourself that you maybe had forgotten you had. So for example, one way that shadow work has really helped me is understanding that whilst living with chronic illness and chronic pain is extremely difficult, being in pain every day of your life is not a way to live. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. It's really quite lonely. There's so much grief, so much anger, so much frustration. It's really hard burden to carry, and all of my fellow spoonies, I send you so many hugs, because goddess knows it's extremely painful, difficult life to live. I also have discovered, thanks to shadow work and using this deck, for example, and all the other decks I've shared with you, that being in pain all the time has actually brought me some positive things, such as the fact that I'm extremely aware of my environment. I'm extremely attuned to all of my senses, which makes me very present. I'm able to notice everything that is around me. I'm able to notice the beauty in the day-to-day much more easily than others. I appreciate the small things much more than others. I think it has cracked me open in a way that has helped me develop my intuition, my empathy. So from something very dark and painful, there is some gold that can come out, and I think the Lantern Oracle is a great deck to do that. Alchemical work, this like alchemical type of inner transformation. So I've just been yapping, but this deck is really good. As you can see on each of the card, we have one keyword and some key phrases. The guidebook is truly amazing. I tend to always refer the guidebook when I use this because I just really enjoy what it has to say. For each of the card, you always have a text, and then the cards are divided into maiden, mother, crone. There's like 3 categories. So you'll have your crone cards, your mother cards, and your maiden cards. And so depending on the card you pull, you'll have a maiden, mother, or crone message at the end. This is fantastic, honestly. If you need a little bit of help to like deepen your shadow work practice, kick off your shadow work practice, or you need new inspiration, this is fantastic. Let's talk about journaling for inspiration and creativity, right? Not every journaling session has to be about digging deep, doing shadow work, and looking at our emotions. Sometimes journaling can be about inspiration, creativity, and just finding joy and, reigniting your passion. An oracle deck I really love for that type of work is this one from Chrisanne. It's a mass market deck. I have the French version, but you can definitely get this in English. It's the Sacred Creators Oracle. Originally, it was Indies and it was put at mass market, and now it's been translated in French for my French viewers. You have 67 cards here, and as the name suggests, this is all about creativity, manifestation. This is fantastic. I've actually gifted this deck to quite a few friends who are not even into cards, because this is not necessarily just for oracle lovers or tarot lovers, but actually just for anyone who is a creative. So I've actually gifted this deck to quite a lot of friends who are creatives and who potentially enjoy journaling. They just are not into the cards like I am. This is really, really good to help you focus on your creativity, focus on your passion, work with your inner fire. So here are the backs. On the French version, we have some golden gilding. This is another one I didn't get for the art style, again, because I don't think it's okay, I like the colors and everything. The colors are very nice, but the art style is very plain. It is one that you get for the content of the guidebook and the experience of working with this deck. And this is another one that I always reference the guidebook for, because Chrisanne has done an amazing work. So here, for example, we have You Are Grandiose. Here we have Be Comfortable with Risk, You Are Magical. Here we have Equilibrium, The Now, Accept and Receive. So each card has a little key phrase, but then the magic truly happens here in the guidebook, which is very juicy. For each of the card, you have your essential messages, which is like the light version of the card. Then you have the messages that she calls to take care of yourself, which are more the, I would say, reversed or shadow kind of side of the card. And then you have your message, but then at the bottom you have at least 2 to 3 questions that you can, guess what, journal about. So here we have accept and receive. If I go to accept and receive, I have my messages and then the questions that I'm invited to explore more. It says, what should you receive in bigger quantity in your life? Do you let other people help you? Is it easy for you to ask for help? What type of person would you like to meet right now? How would it help you in your journey? So ton of questions you can journal about and answer around one card pool. So this is definitely one that you can go deep in. And the whole concept, again, because it's Sacred Creator, it's really focused on self-empowerment, manifestation, creativity. So this is why I think it's particularly beautiful for creatives, artists, self-entrepreneurs, people who are self-employed. This is fantastic. It's also a really good one for career readings, for example. I've used this a ton for myself and for others, and it comes with really good spreads as well. As we have some abundance spread, we have the money spread, there's an entrepreneur spread in there. So definitely versatile oracle deck that also is fantastic for any journaling around career, creativity, finances, abundance, anything like that. My last category is going to be about intuitive journaling, journaling where you are more focused on channeling messages from the divine, from your guides, from your ancestors, from your higher self, from your deities, from the universe, from source, whatever you guys like to work with, whatever your path, whatever your practice. These are meant to be intuitive pulls where you journal and channeling message in a more spiritual manner, an intuitive manner. So the deck the first one I wanted to mention, I don't think is going to be a huge surprise because it's again powerhouse of a deck. It's a mass market option, and we have the soul cards. I have the soul cards too, so that's my favorite, but you have, I think there's 2 or 3 different options with this, and the soul cards are an oracle deck where there's no guidebook and there's no keywords on the card. It is purely images, just images, and the images, so here are the backs for soul cards 2, and the images are very powerful, very channeled, and tend to evoke a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings. You can show this to anyone, to a kid, to someone who's very spiritual, to someone who's not spiritual at all. It will evoke them something. You're gonna get something out of this deck, out of these images. And so for my peeps who love intuitive card pull, who love to journal as a way to peek through the veil, as a way to communicate with their ancestors or their beloved dead or spirit source, again, whatever you guys like to integrate in your practice, this is so powerful. The images truly are beautiful and impactful and just very profound. So this is an amazing practice. You pull a card and just journal about what you feel. How does it make you feel? Does it bring up a memory? Does it bring up a sensation? Does it bring up a song? Does it make you think of someone? Does it make you think of a quote, of a book, whatever it is? There's something that's going to come up when you look at these images, and it can be a beautiful practice to use this for your journals. So that's definitely a great option for more intuitive journaling. I think soul cards is always amazing. Another amazing option for intuitive kind of channel type of journaling is this indie oracle deck. This is an indie option this time. It is the Old Ways Magic Oracle by Naomi Cornock. This is truly beautiful. This is the latest version, so now there's more cards than it used to be. It's a stunning indie creation that comes from the UK, and you have beautiful images that are so evocative that, again, they're really great. I have found personally for when I want to do some intuitive pulls. So here are the backs. The cards are huge. Don't get fooled by my massive orc hands. The cards are very big. If you struggle with bigger decks, that might not be the one for you. But honestly, we need the big cards because the art style is so detailed that you need the space to really get into it. You're gonna see this is absolutely stunning, and the art style is, like I said, so detailed that it makes for a great starting point for intuitive journaling, downloading messages. Again, just putting a card and looking at how does it make you feel. Are you reminded of a memory, of a message, of someone? Does it make you think of a certain deity? This is great for people who connect with Celtic deities or with the Morrigan, or for people who are very connected to nature and the forest. If you like to work with forest energy, animals, if you like to work with fae, if you like to work with, nature as your church, this is extremely profound and beautiful and can be an incredible deck to work with. When I use this deck for journaling, I tend to pull the card, journal, and then look at the guidebooks, look at the depths, which, how beautiful is this? It looks like a spirit, right? It says, lure is the ebb and flow of the sea, always to be respected, whether gentle ripples in the shallows or the dark, strong currents of depths. And then you always have welcome, warning, and wisdom. So the welcome message says, more with the ebb and flow to get where we wish to be. The warning, take care of undertows lest they drag you to dangerous waters. And the wisdom, be wary of deep waters, their strong currents can help or hinder hard journey. So there's definitely enough here to get you started as well to journal about. But if you want to, flex your intuitive muscles, I would recommend first journal about it without going into the guidebook, and then affirm your messages or expand it with the guidebook. I have found it's an extremely beautiful practice. I got this from Salon des Arcanes, which is a French-based tarot shop, but originally this is from the UK, and you can get it directly from the artist, I believe. Amazing deck, one of the most beautiful decks in my collection. It's really, really powerful. Again, for my forest witches, for people who connect with the divine feminine, with nature, with fae, with the animals, with maybe who walk a druidic path, who like to work with nature and this type of very grounded energy. This is really stunning and a beautiful deck to help you channel messages, I think. Another great indie option for those kind of channeled intuitive journaling sessions I might want to be doing is a newer addition to my collection. It's the Notes to Self Diviner's Vocabulary Oracle deck. This is by a fellow tarot reader, tarot content creator here on YouTube, Marinelli. You will find her channel at Bo Mystic. She sent this to me for review, and I've been absolutely adoring it so much. So I'll definitely leave down there where you can get this. This is amazing. I'm so grateful that Marinelli sent this to me, because I've been using this non-stop for myself, for my readings on my second channel, which if you guys don't know, I pull the cards over on the Waves of Your Soul readings. That's where I do intuitive guidance, pick up high readings, monthly readings for you. That's where you can see these cards being used. So definitely go and subscribe over there. It would make me very happy. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the middle of the year, so it would make me extremely happy if you considered subscribing over there as well. I'll make sure to leave it in the cards now. So this is a landscape type deck. You can see here are the backs, and this is actually a deck that focuses on text. So for each of the cards you have a word. Why did I just forget the word? Oh my god, you guys, my brain, I don't know what is going on right now, but I literally just forgot the word. That's crazy. So you have a word, and then you have some key phrases, and this deck has been channeled by Marinelli. I remember watching a video when she talked about the creation of this, and she sat down and in like a few downloads, literally downloaded the information about this deck, the words that wanted to be put on here, the key phrases, the information that wanted to be put on here, and you can feel it when you use the deck. It feels very channeled. So for my peeps who love word, who love literacy, who love poems, who love to work with language, this is fantastic as a way to channel, because some people are more visual and they might like to journal getting and especially download information in their journal about using like a visual prompt. And so soul cards, or the one I just shared with you, the Old Magic Oracle, is great for that. But some people are more inclined to get those intuitive downloads with word. And if that's you, if you prefer to work with words, if you like bibliomancy, if you like language, if you love to look up at the lyrics of songs, and if you like to write or read poetry, this is wonderful. It feels very channeled, and I have found that it's been great for me to journal about. So for example, altruism, the selfless devotion to the welfare of others, service-oriented, balance and imbalance. If I pull this card, then I would potentially journal about in what ways am I being invited to be more altruistic in my life. Is that how you say it? I'm not sure. In what ways I can be more of service, right? It's a starting point, again, to journal and to follow your intuition, but it can be a great starting point to think about something, explore something, and journal about it. Okay, the last deck I wanted to mention today for intuitive journaling, journal in a more, I would say, spiritual downloads kind of manner. One deck I really recommend for that is actually part of a a board game, and the board game is called Dixit. And in Dixit, you can get expansion packs, which I only buy the expansion packs. I don't buy the actual board game. I have quite a few, as you can see. I have quite a few Dixit expansion packs because I love them. I'll share with you one now. I can't remember which is the name of this one, so I'll make sure to leave it in the description box, the name of this specific extension pack. But in these Dixit packs, you get an image, and that's it. There's no keywords. I mean, it's not meant to be an oracle deck anyway, but this is wonderful, again, as a starting point to get some messages, to think about, okay, what does it make you feel? How does it relate to your life right now? Is there a message here that's coming strongly, a memory, a feeling, a song? You know, does it make you think of someone you know? Does it make you think of something you've experienced? And does it make you think of a story? This can be an incredibly profound starting point for journaling. I have had amazing downloads with this deck. If I really want to listen to my intuition and let myself be a channel, truly let myself embody the archetype of the oracle for myself, this has been wonderful. These Dixit packs, I use them as oracle decks as well, and they provide amazing readings. But for journaling, they've also been incredibly helpful. Sometimes they can make you think of myth, right? So here, automatically, I think of the myth with Hera, right? And there's just a lot of things that can come up. I wanted to finish on this one. I love Dixit cards. They're so versatile. I've seen some people make their own tarot deck out of them. I've seen some people write keywords on them. I would never write keywords on mine because every time I pull these cards, I get something else. But again, you do you, right? You're welcome to do whatever you want. So I wanted to finish on that. I hope this was a helpful video. Let me know if you enjoyed this theme of journaling. Let me know if you want me to do a tarot version, which tarot decks I think are extremely good for journaling. Again, you can use any tarot for journaling, but I definitely have some favorites that maybe I can rely on the guidebook because it gives me some questions and things like that. So if you want me to do the tarot version of this video, let me know in the comments. I hope you are all doing good. Until next time, I'm sending you so much good vibes and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye!